Hi everyone, I'm Dulce and I will introduce to you the beginning of our presentation, Group Leadership by Ariana, Mariana, Rami, Tiffany, and me. In the next slide, introduction. Leadership skills are very important in today's world. The class needs to know that our leadership allows us to have better opportunities in our family, school, work, and business life. Today, most employers look for who demonstrate leadership skills. It's worth spending time and effort to develop those skills, even if we are not currently a leader. In this presentation, we will talk about many fascinating aspects of leadership. In next slide, what leadership is. Leadership has been researched for decades. Today, we know that leadership, like communication, are not innate skills. Those skills can be learned and improved by following a learning process. Leaders are factors of change that inspire and impact the life of the other people. Leaders can be identified for their action in different contexts. Leadership is defined as a process to develop the ability to formulate effectively implement a context-based action plan. Leadership can be demonstrated in our own life, and even we can get involved in groups teams. Our goal is to become an effective leader, following the display leadership, a term of the Navy US. An effective leader has to get out the office and get on the display of the ship. That means that a leader has to interact with people, identify what challenges are, what strengths and weaknesses are, and also what opportunities can be present. An effective leader always being doing tasks oriented and also strengthening relationship. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Ariana here. I'll be presenting the leadership theories by Ariana Martinez. Next slide. We will be going over the introduction. There are many perspectives of leadership, but they generally fall into four main categories of leadership that we will be covering in the next slide. Leadership categories and traits. What are the 10 universal leadership traits? Achievement orientation, adaptability, energy, intelligence, innovation, persistence, responsibility, self-confidence, sociability, verbal communication, ability. The next leadership category is a situational leadership in the form of telling, selling, practicing, and delegating. In the next slide, we'll be looking at the next form of leadership that focuses on short-term and long-term needs of the team or an individual, assessing, understanding, preparing, implementing, allocating, re-evaluating, understanding, quality control, evaluating outcomes, sharing the outcomes. And for the last form of leadership, there are 4 concepts of transformational leadership. Intellectual stimulation, individualized consideration, inspirational motivation, and idealized influence. In the next slide. We will be going over the key takeaways. In this section, we have discussed leadership, traits, situational leadership, functional leaderships, and final transformational leadership theories. We can recognize that there are no universal traits associated with leadership, but there are traits that are associated with it we develop across time through our experience. We can also recognize that the context or situation makes a significant impact on leadership, and matching the situation to the leadership approach requires skill and experience. I added the little photo here that says, great leaders don't tell you what to do, they show you what to do or show you how it's done, as one of our takeaways that we've learned. And I'll be passing the presentation on to Mariana.
Hi everyone, I will be presenting Becoming a Leader by Mariana Matosha. On the next slide, leadership is an essential trait that can be demonstrated in various aspects of our lives. We can see leadership in action within teams, groups, and different contexts. It plays circular roles in guiding and motivating individuals towards a common goal, whether it's in the workplace, community, organization, or even within our own families. Effective leadership fosters collaboration, invention, and overall success. On the next slide. These are 2 definitions I found about becoming a leadership. Leadership is the ability to effectively formulate and implement a context-based action plan. A leader is someone who provides guidance, directions, and motivation to a group or a team. On the next slide. There are 2 different types of leadership roles. They are democratic and emergent leader. A democratic leader is elected or chosen by the group. They involve team members in decision-making processes, ensuring everyone's voice is heard. However, democratic leaders may also face challenges such as conflicting opinions and decision-making delays. Emergent leaders emerge from necessity, utilizing their skills and expertise to take on leadership responsibilities, often emerging in situations lacking formal leadership or during crisis. On the next slide. On the next slide, there are 5 different roles and skills of leadership. They are called visionary, communicator, motivator, problem solver, and coach. For example, visionary, they inspire and provide a clear direction for the team. Communicator, they effectively convey information and encourage open communication. Motivator, they inspire and motivate team members to achieve goals. Problem solver, they tackle challenges and invite solutions. Coach, they mentor and develop the skills and of team members. Next slide, please. How leaders use their roles. Leaders use their roles to leverage their leadership skills and ensure effective team performance. Visionary leaders create a shared vision and elevate the team's effort towards it. Communicators foster an environment of open communication and ensure information follows seamlessly. Motivators inspire and empower team members, boosting moral and productivity. Problem solvers tackle obstacles and find solutions to propel the team forward. Coaches mentor, guides, and develop the skills of team members. Next slide. Effective leadership is important in personal and team settings, and understanding different roles and embracing them helps develop skills and influence others. I'll be giving it to Rami now.
Hello, everyone. I will be talking about, sorry about that. Hello, everyone. I'll be talking about teamwork and leadership. My colleagues and they have defined leadership, but I'll be talking about the styles of leadership and how they function with teamwork. So first of all, we have to understand, like, what does group communication have to do with teamwork and leadership? Like, what does it have to do? Well, it's mostly found in the business environment. That's where you'll find a lot of group communication where there's teamwork and leadership being conducted. And that basically means, like, in order for you to be good at teamwork and leadership, you need to be good at group communication. Like, when you're working with a team and doing teamwork because you're working with a team, you need to know how to communicate with the group of people that you're working within that team. And with leadership, it goes the same way as well. You need to learn how to just conduct yourself with the group of people and as well lead them by communicating to that group. There's so many ways to be successful in teamwork, and as well leadership, but group communication is one major aspect that will literally give you effective results. So remember, in order for you to be successful in teamwork and leadership, you need to be successful in what the Bob says, group communication. In order to get more know about these aspects in group communication, let's talk about teamwork. Like, what is teamwork? Well, teamwork is basically two terms as we see. It's team and then work. So team is basically a group of people who are just united together and they all have a goal to produce something or reach a goal. There could be teams everywhere that you find them. You find teams in hospitals. It takes a team to save a life or do a surgery. It takes a team to do business. It takes a team to go to classes as we do. Sports teams, like, those are different things. The work is basically the goal, as I mentioned, or the idea they want to result something or find research. And each member of the team is expected to contribute their own way. Work could be different types of goals. For example, football, it takes teamwork to basically get into the Super Bowl, things like that. It takes teamwork to find a next vaccine. So in order for you to deliver teamwork in a successful way, you need to make sure that you have positive performance review, because if you have negative productivity, you get very bad negative performance review, basically. And as you see here, you need to understand team is a group of people, little Scrabble people here. And there's no I in team, as we remember that there's no I in team. So let's talk about teamwork performance results. Teamwork performance result is basically the performance of your team, how it occurs and the performance style. Is everyone doing their work? Is everyone coming to the meeting on time? Just we're doing in our team right now. Sometimes you have a little trouble and teams don't meet the performance results, and that leads into negative productivity, which basically, to understand that, we need to understand what happened in that team to create negative performance results. Well, one could then be is that people didn't feel comfortable with the expectation, the goal. They weren't really connected to the project. And so that literally leads to negative performance results, because the person just doesn't feel comfortable into the project and they don't want to be part of it, or they just have a personal view or something and they just don't go along with the procedure. Some people feel pressured as well, like they can't conform to the project or the expectations. So sometimes anxiety has to do with that too as well. Another one is group thinking. Group thinking is a tendency, if you'll see in projects, is when it's it's all thought out, just everybody's says, red apples are amazing, and then everybody in the group, yeah, red apples are amazing. And then there's one person in the group that wants to say yellow apples are amazing, but they can't really, because the group is thinking this a whole idea and taking over the individual act, which really reduces efficiency, because in the end of the day, that one individual person that probably has a good idea that will lead the team to better results doesn't perform anymore. And then that results into negative performance results. Like everything matters. And the last thing is personality and competition. Like people clash sometimes. Like you will not like everybody that you meet sometimes. Some people don't like each other. Some people just have a bad attitude. Some people just have different energies and you don't vibe with each other. Like, you know, the clash of personalities. And some people will take their clash of personalities so far that they will not care about their performance result and just dive everything down. As well, competition. Like it's good to be competitive. Like I said, like teamwork, like as well, we mentioned football team, that's competition. But sometimes, like, you know, there's a right time and a place to be competitive. Like, because it doesn't affect your performance results and you're not focusing on just like, oh, I'm being number one. Remember, as I said on the number thing, on the little Scrabble things, there's no I in team. Like there's everyone else. Like it's not yourself. But you know, how does a team look when it has positive performance results? Like, what did that team do differently? Well, calibration, like, you know, like when people feel welcome, they feel like, you know, they could belong to a group and everything. That's where people bring out their best and a sense of belonging. Like when being around other people too, like it happens to everybody. Even as an introverted, you could be like, I'm introverted too. Like sometimes you have a sense of belonging when you're around people at the wrong time. And then as well, it just drives you to like, I want these people to, you know, like to see the best of me. And like, you know, it drives you and encourages the individual to do the best. And then also diversity, like diversity is a big one. Like one person could just think one mind, and it happens to all of us. We think one mind, and then we go out and we go work with people. We come back home like, wow, I saw things differently. And that just where the result comes out differently. But some things, you know, to do to get positive performance results will be basically making a comfortable environment without people being judged, you know, like welcoming challenge and feedback, like, you know, like someone who feels like, oh, here comes a boss, I can't say anything, like, you know, because they're going to just be negative or they're just going to yell at me without, you know, but my feedback is positive. As well, you know, being considerate of other people, like everybody's different, no one's the same. Like you're, as someone, you think like, you know, you might work hard, not everybody works hard as you, everybody works differently, and everybody's style should matter. And as well, being mindful of people's beliefs and personal views. But the one thing that you need is leadership. Leadership is needed. So we understand, like, you know, what type of leaderships, as my colleagues have mentioned, there's various different forms of leadership, as well as I mentioned as well, but like there's styles as well of leadership. As you understand in the book, you'll read that there's different styles of leadership because there's different environments, like in different situations, there's different types of leaders, like, you know, there occur like in a business type of environment, you need more of an autocratic leader, someone who is basically the CEO. This is our people like you think of Elon Musk and all them. Like they're basically don't really, it's not more of a skill one, but it's more of like, you know, they were raised with this, they were taught like, you know, self-direction and they know it. And they basically like, they're that type of person who goes there. Like a CEO will be autocratic, like as well. Next to there will be the laissez-faire leader, live and let live leader. Basically the not really hands-on, but I give you this choice and I'll give you this choice. These leaders are not very good, like, you know, in business, like, because one thing, they want to be free. They want their own space. Like, you know, go do your own thing and then come back with me with the results. That's literally what they're saying. And then we also have like leaders, like, you know, that just learn through basically a common role, like, you know, bringing people together. Leader is a conductor. You'll find this to be a singer. Most of these, you'll find them when it comes to movements, like political movements, activist movements. Like you'll find those people being leaders. Those are leaders of conductors. And then we have the leader as a technician, basically the leader that has a skill. Like our teacher, he's a leader as a technician. He has a skill, teaching us communication skills. And what the goal is to lead us all to get past this class and obtain these skills. And then we have the leader as a coach, which is a combination of all, like they're really hands-on, but also too, like they're very like straightforward and they're just one of all. Like, you know, this is kind of a person that you want leadership skills. You'll find these very common in community as well. Like they're all different types, teachers, coaches, wanting to better themselves, not themselves only, but the team. That's like, you know, they're like, there's an emotional component to it. And then some traits you want in leadership will be being oriented, educated. You want someone educated, someone with experience, someone who knows what they're doing and how they're leading. You want someone that's nurturing and as well that encourages you, because you don't want someone that just puts you down. Like, why would you follow that person? And as well, you want someone that have a leadership trait is assessing and correcting the situations and listening and counseling. A leader has to listen as well, because he needs to make sure everyone in the posse is doing good. If your homies aren't good, then you're not going to do good. And as well, establishing group emphasis, or more like the group dynamic, like, what's going to go on? How do we communicate? How do we do this? It comes to different things. But again, as we said, the different types of leader matters in the type of environment. Like, in a business world, like we said, the LACIED leader will not really do well. An autocratic leader will do well. Leaders, a coach maybe will do well, but they're not really driven to. It depends on the situation and environment. We have to remember that. So I like this picture because it shows, like, this is more of an autocratic leader, and this is like more of, I'll say, a leader as a coach, because he's leading forward, but the autocratic is like telling you self-direction, like. And then now I will be giving it off to my colleague, Tiffany.
Hi everyone, I'm Tiffany, and today I will go over the diverse forms of leadership. According to the text, diverse people with diverse personalities in diverse situations call for diverse forms of leadership. So I chose this quote from the text because it does a great job on explaining these types of leaderships and why it's important to use them. And the next slide will start on Goldilocks. While we've gone over laissez-faire being the decision-making leadership where people can behave however they wish to, and then the autocratic leader where these leaders have complete control, there's the democratic right in the middle being a balance of the two, or as Goldilocks would describe it, as being just right, because this one allows everyone's voice to be heard and is considered to excuse me, it is considered to create creative communication within the team. There's a photo of the three bears, which we can see better on the next slide. Now we can see the three bears. There's the mama bear and papa bear, and their meals represents the autocratic and the laissez-faire being too hot or too cold, while the smaller bear has it just right. The Goldilocks continuum of leadership refers to finding the balance between these different types of styles of leadership. It's about not being too hands-off or too controlled, but finding the just right approach. If we were to look back at the photo, we can see dishes in the back, which are labeled as transactional and transformational, which we will go over in the next slide. Now we will go over the new forms of leadership. That is transactional, where leaders focus on rewards and punishments, and then transformational, where these leaders focus more on being inspirational and motivational. Some differences are listed below. Transactional has leaders that want you to achieve what's expected of you. They want you to stick to the rules, and based on your performance, they could reward you. Transformational, they want you to do what's more than expected and encourages growth and change so you can reach your full potential. And the next slide will go on more diverse forms of leadership. Here we'll focus on women in leadership. There's the matriarchal leadership, where women hold the primary position of power. Someone who's a great example is Ellen Sirleaf Johnson, because she's an amazing, inspiring leader who broke barriers as the first female president of Liberia. When she served as the 24th president from 2006 to 2018, she had 6 female cabinet ministers by her side. Now, female versus male leadership. When it comes to leadership styles, some research suggests that female leaders tend to emphasize collaboration, cooperation, empathy, and inclusivity, while male leaders may focus more on competition and seek to dominate. Overall, effective leadership is about finding the right balance and adapting to the needs of the situation and the team. Thank you.